Today we're going to talk about how to solve inequalities and graph their solutions. So we will solve this much the same way that we would a regular equation, except with a couple of caveats that exist for inequalities. So we have that 8x is less than or equal to 7x minus 3. So we can see that there are x's on both sides of the inequality, and we'll need to isolate that before graphing. So the first thing that we're going to do here is subtract 7x on both sides, since the 7x was positive. 8x minus 7x leaves us with just 1x is less than or equal to negative 3. After just that one step, we have isolated the variable on the left-hand side. So we have that x is less than or equal to negative 3. To graph that, we will find negative 3 on the number line, and since it is less than or equal to, we are going to include the negative 3 and draw a solid circle. And draw an arrow to the left indicating that our solution is any value that is less than or equal to negative 3. Let's look at another example. Here we have that negative 11x minus 13 is greater than 42. This looks much like a two-step equation. We'll just start by adding 13 to both sides since the 13 is negative. This leaves us with negative 11x is greater than 55. Since the negative 11 is being multiplied by x, we'll divide negative 11 on both sides of the inequality. Since we divided both sides by a negative, we have to change the sign from greater than to less than. And 55 divided by negative 11 is negative 5. Once again, we change the sign because we divided both sides of the inequality by a negative value. All we have to do from here is find negative 5 on the number line and graph our solution. Since this is just a less than sign, we will not be including the negative 5, so we will leave this as an open circle and draw our arrow to the left, indicating that our solution is any value less than negative 5. Let's look at another. In this case, we have negative 7 is less than 15 plus 2x, all divided by negative 3. If this were an equation, the first thing we would want to do is try to get rid of the fraction. We can do the exact same thing in this case by multiplying both sides of the inequality by negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 7 is positive 21. Since we multiplied both sides of the inequality by a negative, we do need to change the sign from less than to greater than. Now all we have to do is subtract 15 on both sides and get rid of the 2 momentarily. 21 minus 15 leaves us with 6. Since the 2 is being multiplied by the x, we will divide on both sides, leaving us that 3 is greater than x. Before we graph this, we'll change this around to give us that x is less than 3, so that we make sure that we know which way to draw our arrow. All we have to do from here is find 3 on the number line and graph our solution. Since we are not including the 3, we will leave that as an open circle and draw our arrow to the left, indicating that our solution here is any value less than 3. Let's look at another example. Here we have that 4 times the quantity 3t minus 5 plus 7 is greater than or equal to 8t plus 3. So we will start by distributing. 4 times 3t gives us 12t. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. And we'll add the 7 onto the end. And I'll just rewrite everything on the right hand side. Before moving on, we can combine like terms on the left-hand side, because negative 20 plus 7 gives us negative 13. Now we need to isolate the variable. There are variables on both sides. I'm going to subtract 8t on both sides of the inequality to get all of our t's on the left. 12t minus 8t leaves us with 4t. And I will add 13 to both sides. We now have that 4t is greater than or equal to 16. I can divide both sides by 4, leaving us that t is greater than or equal to positive 4. All we have to do from here is graph this. On the number line, we'll find 4. Since it's greater than or equal to, we are including the 4, so I will leave that as a solid circle. And it's greater than, I'm going to draw the arrow to the right, indicating that our solution is any value that is greater than or equal to positive 4. Let's look at one more example. Here we have 2 times the quantity x plus 6 is greater than negative 3 times the quantity 8 minus x. All we have to do from here is to distribute on both sides. 2 times x is just 2x, and 2 times 6 is 12. We'll distribute on the right. Negative 3 times 8 is negative 24, and negative 3 times the negative x is positive 3x. We can see from here that there are x's on both sides of the inequality, so we will need to get those all on the same side. I will subtract 2x on both sides in an effort to get all the variables on the same side. On the left we have 12, and on the right we now have negative 24, and then 3x minus 2x leaves us with positive x. From here, all we need to do is add 24 to both sides, leaving us with 36 is greater than x. To graph this, we can flip this x around first to give us x is less than 36, so we know how to draw the arrows. Since 36 is not on our number line, we will improvise. I'll slide this down. We'll make this positive 20, positive 30, and positive 40. Put 35 right here, and then we'll use that. So 36 is just above 35. We are not including it, so we can leave that as an open circle, and I will draw this arrow to the left, indicating that our answer is any value that is less than 36.